Hello, everyone. Welcome to another week of the sCrypt community call. So today we're going to talk about this interesting topic of atomic swaps. Specifically, we are going to talk about how to do cross-chain atomic swaps. Okay, so we are going to cover generally two approaches. The first one I want to cover here is so-called hash locked contracts. Okay. Can you see my screen okay?
Yes, that's
Okay.
okay.
Yeah, I can make it bigger. So what's the basic idea of atomic swap? Anybody have heard about this term? Domingo?
Yes,
Okay.
yeah.
What does it mean in your mind?
Uh, in my mind, basically, you have like two different chains, and then you want to change your tokens in the chain one and receive something from chain two. That's I mean my basic understanding on these atomic swaps. I don't know if that's okay or not. That's
Yeah, that's
accurate.
about right. Basically, you have two type of so-called crypto assets on two different chains, and then you want to trade or swap them, right? And usually what you do is, for example, just in this example, I use the BTC and BSV as example. So what if, you know, let's say you have one BTC and I have, I don't know, today's rate, let's say 1000 BSV. Okay. So you want to have 1000 BSV and I want your one BTC. Okay. So usually what happens is I can send you my 1000 BSV and then after that you send me one BTC, your BTC. Okay. But then obviously there's a problem, right? Because what if I send you and you just run away, right? So then you got both the BTC and my BSV, which is not good, right? Which is not fair exchange. Vice versa, right? If you send me first, I may run away, right? So then you end up with nothing, which is not also not good. So the atomic swap, the key here is atomic, meaning the swap either happens, so both of us get the other's coins, or nothing happens. We all hold our own original coins, right? There's no way for one person to get the other person's coins, but the other person doesn't give me his coins. Okay, so and usually this is not easy to do. So unless you go to have trust somebody like escrow or you go to some exchange, you buy. Let's say you go to I don't know, Binance or not Binance. Let's say you go to some exchange that has both BSV and BTC, and then you can place a trade there. But then you have all kind of problem, right? And then basically you have to trust somebody. Okay, either exchange or not. Okay, so the atomic swap here we introduce the amazing property here is trustless, meaning you don't have to trust anybody for this swap to be atomic. Okay, so that's a nice feature about, and then you can build a lot of things up on top of it. Either you can do it with trading, or you may even build a certain type of exchange which is non-custodial. Yeah, you can build a lot of things. This is just basic primitive. Okay, so how do we do that? That seems impossible at the beginning, at the first glance. So for that to happen, basically we need two Bitcoin primitives. Okay. So Bitcoin, when we talk about, because it's a so-called UTXO model, so you can think of everybody has almost like a mailbox, right? So they have their own key, and the mailbox has an address, right? So usually you have a mailing address, but in the case of Bitcoin, you can think about is your Bitcoin address. Okay. So if somebody, let's say Bob, wants to send Alice some bitcoins, what does he do? So he basically plays the bitcoins through this, like, there's open slot. He can slide it in, and then only when Alice wants to spend it, she can use her key to unlock the mailbox and take the bitcoins out. Okay, so basically you can think about, bitcoins are locked in mailbox that have keys. Okay, assigned to certain address. Make sense so far? So this is an analogy we are going to use for the remaining of the atomic swap. Okay.
Yeah.
So besides this basic lock, basically you have a lock, and then you have corresponding key to unlock it. They're more advanced because Bitcoin, we talk about the way you lock it. This is just the basic, the most I think the popular one so far. But there are different other ways to lock your mailbox. Think about the lock can take many forms. In general, we call it a smart contract. Basically, you can place any kind of locking condition here, and then only who has corresponding information to unlock for the smart contract, they can unlock it. For example, here we introduce another type of lock called hash locks. So it's almost like the lock with passcode. So if you have any kind of safe or your more advanced door, you probably seen this kind of locks. Basically, you have to enter your so-called PIN. It's almost like your phone. When it's locked, you can enter your PIN to unlock it. So in this case, it's actually, each lock, it has so-called a hash. You can think about is associated with a hash. And the only way for you to unlock it is to give it some value. You put the PIN, and then PIN hashes to that given hash. Okay. So it's almost like a password. A PIN you have to remember that can unlock this type of lock. Okay. So in the Bitcoin analogy, so the important information is, first the hash is displayed on the lock, on the surface, on the face of the lock, so everybody can see, right? Because it's eventually going to publish on chain, and also and also equally importantly, when you enter the answer, your PIN to unlock it is also going to be recorded on the blockchain, in the Bitcoin in this case. Okay, so this is the analogy for a hash lock. Okay, so besides hash lock, that's another type of lock that's you need for this atomic swap to happen. So basically, it's a time lock, right? Original it originally come from the banking industry, right? So you have vault, because to prevent theft either internally or externally, you have some people smart come up with this time lock idea. So basically, this lock cannot be opened before a certain time. It can only be unlocked after a certain time. Okay. So this is also we are going to use. Okay. So besides using a regular key type of a lockbox, you also have hash lock and time locks. Now, this is how we're going to use to atomically swap, let's say BS3 with BTC. Okay. Any questions so far about the basic primitives here?
No, I guess some basic use case for the time lock could be, okay, my son, I will give you this BSB, but only when you are 18, and then you can put
Yes.
the yeah. This can be yeah. So far so good, yeah.
Okay, great. So let's see how we use the primitives so far to atomic swap BTC. Let's say Alice has some BSV. She wants to trade with Bob, who has BTC, but they want to each other's coin at the, let's say, exchange ratio of, let's say, 1 BTC versus 1,000, for example. Okay, whatever ratio they decided upon, that's no problem. Okay, so what's going to happen is they're going to set up first. Okay, they're going to use a lockbox that has two things. One is you need to use a regular key, right? This is the lock here. If you look at here, they have a regular lock, and then you also have this almost like hash lock. You have to enter a password or PIN. Okay, so this lockbox has you need two things to open. First, the key, and also second, the PIN number. Okay, so what they're going to do is, Alice is going to deposit her BSV into Bob's mailbox. Okay, so Bob has a key for this, but also then the problem is she also needs some kind of secret, a pin, which Bob doesn't know yet. Okay. And then Bob is also going to deposit her BTC into Alice's mailbox with these two type of locks. Okay. So the lock, the key information here is Alice is going to generate the pin, which is called the hash per image, using terminology. So Alice is going to generate some random number and then hash it and use this hash for the hash log here. Because the hash is displayed on the log, right? So we can see, so Bob can make sure here both these logs, they use the same pin. So this is the must-have. This is the key information here. So the hash log here in mailbox A must be the same with the mailbox on B. Okay. So, make sense so far?
Yeah.
Okay. And then after they finish the setup, they deposit all the coins in here in each other's mailbox. So what's next is Alice is going to, open her mailbox here, right? She needs to use her key and importantly, also the PIN number, right? Because, if you remember here, Bob already put his coins in Alice's mailbox, right? So when Alice wants to retrieve the coins, when she opens the mailbox, she uses the key, of course, the signature in this case, and also enter the PIN. So what happens to Bob? Can Bob open his mailbox after Alice has opened hers? What do you think?
He should be able to open his as well.
Why?
So
How?
provided that the Bitcoin is there.
Oh yes. How about how does Bob open mailbox B?
Yes, same mechanism, right? So the same secret pin, but his own private key, his own signature.
Yes, correct. Because here's the thing, right? Before Alice opens her mailbox, can Bob open his? Before Alice does this,
Well,
can he open mailbox B? Bob.
yeah, well, it shouldn't be different. Both could open at any time. The only thing is that it should only open if both transfers did occur, right?
Yes. So once Alice open her mailbox, because this is, as I said earlier, the PIN is going to be revealed on the blockchain. And then because the blockchain is open and public, the Bob observing this can use the same PIN to open this hash lock and then use her private key, right? She can retrieve the coins that's Alice deposit. So then you can see, because the connection here is they have the same PIN, and there's no way Alice can open this without
Without
Bob knowing the
revealing.
secret PIN. Say it again.
Yeah, without revealing. So her opening means revealing the pin. So that means Bob will know the pin plus his private key. He will be able to open as well.
Yes. So now you can kind of see, right? Yeah.
And if he tries before, he will then now get the secret pin, right?
Right. If Alice doesn't open it, then Bob cannot open it, right? Because only Alice knows the secret PIN. Right? So then use atomic, right? Meaning if Alice gets Bob's coin, then Bob is guaranteed to be able to retrieve Alice's coin. But if Alice doesn't get the coins, Bob doesn't also get the coin. No, either both get the coins or neither get each other's coins. There's no way it's one way, right? So there's no way for Alice to get the coins, but Bob not. Okay, that's the only problematic case. Make sense so far?
Yes, I think so. Yeah.
Okay, great. Yeah, this is the key. The most important thing is they must use the same pin. Okay. So then, is there an issue here? What if Alice put the coins here and Bob also deposited the coin, but then Alice just went away? Is this a problem?
In the first scenario,
Yeah.
yeah, I'm assuming that with a smart contract, she needs to commit BSV this BSV amount. So it's kind of locked. It's kind of the UTXO is spent, and then it only can be recovered by Bob, but not by Alice.
Mhm.
I don't
Yeah,
know if that
basically,
makes sense.
if you lock the coins and then the Alice goes away, then both the Bob cannot get her BTC back, right? Because he cannot know the pin, right? Which only Alice knows. So any any proposal to solve this? And remember, we have two type of primitives here, right? So far we use the first one. What do you think?
Yeah. So in this case, yeah, you can put a time lock, but I'm not sure um
Yeah,
which time
exactly.
to.
Yeah. So yeah, you need to put a basically you need a timeout issue. So if nothing happens, before a certain time, you can make sure that both they can get the coins back, right? This is where the time lock comes from. So let's say after Bob puts
Okay.
his coins in mailbox of A. If A doesn't do anything, let's say in a day, then Bob can take the coins back, right?
Yeah.
So then you make sure, it's like fail safe. You know, if for whatever reason is you know, Alice either intentionally or unintentionally, maybe she lost power or so the network access. So you can make sure both they can get the coins back. Okay,
Yeah.
make sense?
The only question here is that they are on different chains.
Mm-hmm.
So what happens if I mean, they somehow you need to uh, so you need to lock. So you need to lock both. You need to lock both of them. Both of them. If the transaction doesn't happen in one day, both of them receive the refund, right?
Yeah, both. Both. Yeah, they each receive the refund on the original chain.
So you need this type of smart contract available in both chains.
Yes.
Okay.
So that's why they call it a hash log time contract, which I put it here. So basically, yes, exactly as you said. For this type of atomic swap to happen on a chain, the chain must support two primitives. One is hash lock, the other is time lock. Okay. So
Okay.
fortunate thing is for BSV and BTC, we can both support
Yeah.
these primitives. In BSV, it's easy. You can code it like this. This is basic, use case of for sCrypt. It's also a few lines. And then also for BTC, because they have this opcode called check log time. So at the end of this log time, so you can do hash log, but also you can do time log. So you can, because both chains they support this hash HLTC, so they can swap atomically. So this can generalize to many other blockchains, right? Because as as long as you support HLTC, HTLC, hash lock time contract, then you can use this contract to swap with any other chain that supports the same primitive.
Okay.
For example, we just showed BTC versus BSV, and then you can do BTC with ETH, either Ether or the tokens on top of it. Actually, people have done this. You just program the same contract on Ethereum, maybe use solidity or vibrant, whatnot.
Yep.
So as long as you can implement this, you can swap with any other chain that supports the same primitive. So same thing. People done this with BTC, LTC, BC with BCH, with current, Qtum, Decred, all these chains you can swap with each other. Okay. As long as there's only one condition, the chain must support HTLC contract.
Okay.
Okay. So in the case of BSV, because we can support it, so we can swap a top link with any other, chain that supports it. Let's say BTC, if all these chains listed here, we can also swap with non-native assets like tokens, right? Because if you think about it, if you can lock any assets using this, then you can swap with each other. You can even, let's say, for example, I think nobody has done this, but you can even swap with using BSV to swap with BTC ordinals, right? Because anything that's an asset on BTC, then you can swap it.
Yeah.
You can use either BTC coins itself or any tokens on top of BSV. So you can, in this case, you can use BSV to purchase atomically, trust listing some BTC ordinals. Or there's another extension, because if you look at the mechanism here, basically you make sure the hash lock has the same secret pin. So that's actually nothing stop you from using this on the same chain, right? Because we call it cross chain, but you can also use it within the same chain. For example, in the case of, let's say, BSV, you can use the BSV native coins to buy BSV, NFTs or ordinals, right? As long as you can lock them in HTLC, then you can use this mechanism, okay? Or same for BTC, you can use the native BTC coins to buy the ordinals on BTC. You can also do it, okay? But yeah, it will be fun exercise if anybody here watching or who's going to watch the recording. Yeah, just, will be some cool examples to, swap some ordinals with BTC or BSV on the same chain or across chains. Yeah, you can do with the same, it's the same algorithm, okay?
Only one question.
Go
So
ahead.
is the order important? Because in the case we said before, is Alice gets the BTC, and then is Bob getting the BSV with the secret that has been revealed. But ideally, it could be any other, right? So it's you both smart contracts are there, and it could be any order. It's just waiting for me in my safe with my key. Is there any anything preventing that the order can be whichever?
I'm not getting your question. What can you
Yeah.
say?
So if you
Can you
scroll up,
elaborate? Yeah.
yeah, if you scroll up.
To let me know where you want me to stop.
Yeah,
Okay.
just the typical
Here.
this one.
Okay.
Yeah. So in this case, Alice wants BTC, Bob wants BSV. So we mentioned that Alice types the secret pin and then gets the BTC, and afterwards Bob types the same secret pin and gets BSV. So my question is, can it happen the other way around? Can Bob get the BSV first, and then Alice gets the BTC second?
No, because the way, yeah, it depends on the setup. So in the setup, so if you look at the detailed protocol steps here, in this case, in this example, Alice generate the secret pin first, and then send Bob the hash. But if you want Bob to open it first, then Bob has to, generate the secret first, and then send the hash
Okay.
to Alice. You can reverse this. But
Okay.
in terms of the swap, there's no real effect, right? Because eventually they're going to get each other's, or nothing happens. So that's the beauty of this protocol. You don't have to try. Bob doesn't have to trust Alice. Yeah, if Bob wants to retrieve first, then Bob has to generate the secret number first. Okay. So it's
Okay.
almost like it's all like symmetric. Yeah. It doesn't matter who does the setup and generate secret first.
Yeah, and okay, so we're saying that the first one that generates the secure random number and opens needs to privately send this to the second one.
Yeah, hash. Yeah.
The hash of it. So after the second receives the hashes, when the smart contract gets placed on the second blockchain with that hash, right?
Yes.
Okay,
Same
okay.
hash. Yes.
Yeah. So it's basically if we open if we go up again for the same
Diagram.
graph
Okay.
we had before, yeah. So that means that Alice, so it first gets this secret pin, then sends the smart contract to the blockchain A, shares the pin with Bob. He sends as well the smart contract to blockchain B, and now as they share the same hash, it really doesn't matter which one goes first, right?
No, because eventually, yeah, it's going to be exposed on
Exactly.
chain.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
okay.
So it's just they agree on the hash, and
Yes.
yeah, they put the corresponding smart contracts, and after that they can open. Okay. Cool.
Okay.
Yeah, I think that makes sense. Yeah.
I have a
Okay.
question.
Yeah, sure.
So in the case where, so one of the things which I'm thinking about, right, is, so the protocol is pretty straightforward. There are two transactions at the moment. You do one atomic swap for one transaction to another, or one contract to another. Is it possible to layer in a punishment in case either party pulls out? I'll explain why I want this feature in there. If I'm going to be swapping with a chain that is expensive, it means that if the other party pulls out, then I'm actually going to lose money. So
The
say, for example,
fees.
yeah. So if Alice sends to Bob, right, and Bob's transaction fees are $5, Alice has committed the transaction onto the BTC network. So she's paying $5 for that first initial commitment. And then when she needs to reclaim the transaction, she needs to spend back to herself again. So it's $10 that Alice is out $10. And Bob has basically punished Alice for pennies because BSV is cheap. So I would like there to be the ability to layer in that. It's essentially, I guess, a prevention of a type of attack against the other party where you cause them to lose money unnecessarily.
Yeah, great. Yeah, great point. I think that's a very practical issue. I think which is luckily also easier to bake into the protocol. We slightly modified because for example here, right, you can say, hey, if you just unlock on time, it's good, right? Because that's what when it works, right? There's no problem. But if you want to cancel, then you have to send some money to the other party. So you can add something here saying, hey, in the output, there must be some specified amount, which both parties agree beforehand. They want to, for example, if Alice cancel, then she needs to pay Bob certain, coins on her chain. Does this make sense? You just add something, in this public function. But yeah, that's a great way to disincentivize people to cancel, right?
Can I ask you a question?
Sure, go ahead, Carlos.
I guess I wasn't understanding this. So if the person cancels the transaction in his chain, he will automatically pay for the other guy because he tried to cheat him. He
So
will
basically,
break his chain.
that's no cheating. That's the most important feature here because there's a hash lock involved. The hash is the
Yeah.
same. So if whoever puts the secret pin, meaning the pre-image, the other party is going to able to observe the same pin from the public blockchain and use the same thing to unlock the his own coins on the other chain, because these two are linked. They have the same hash.
Yeah.
It's like they have the same password or pin number.
Yeah.
You cannot, if Alice opens here, Bob is guaranteed to be able to know this pin and use the same pin to unlock his own mailbox. Does this make sense? In this sense, it's atomic. There's no way Alice can open her mailbox without Bob being open to open his own mailbox. So that's the number one secret
it's
here.
not the
Okay.
same pin.
It's the same pin. That's the key issue. It must be the same pin.
Yeah, but Alice knows it first because she started the thing.
Yes.
And if she want to cancel the transaction before Bob put his pin on the other chain, she can do that because she has the control over the pin on the BTC chain.
Yeah, okay. So two cases, right? First, Alice opened her mailbox.
Yeah.
Okay. Then she must use the pin, because the pin is in the so-called unlocking script, right? So it's exposed after she opens this. So then Bob can look at the chain and find the pin. Okay.
Yeah.
So this is case one. Or if Alice doesn't open her mailbox for whatever reason, intentionally, or she lost access or power or networking, whatever, unintentionally, then Bob doesn't know the pin. And then both, because we have the time lock, so both they can get the deposit back, refund after the timeout. So you only have two cases, right? Alice opens or not. So in both cases, we are good.
Okay, so she will just, once she unlocks her mailbox, it's a compromise that she will carry the transaction up to the end, is it?
Yeah, then she has to expose the pin in the spending transaction, right? Yeah. That's going to be public. There's no way to hide, right? It's a public blockchain.
Yeah.
Okay.
But she can't cancel after she opened the mailbox. Is it true?
She cannot cancel. The pin is going to be exposed in the unlocking script, right? Okay. So that's a key guarantee.
Nice.
Okay.
So I have another question. Sorry, I didn't. You might have mentioned this already during the setup phase originally. Wouldn't this work? Maybe it already works this way. But my question is, because you're talking about mailboxes, wouldn't it work better if Alice and Bob just send the raw transactions to each other directly, and that way they don't actually have to reveal anything on chain? They just have to have the transactions, the time locks on the transactions are essentially put in place in the raw transaction that you send directly to the other party. This way, the other party is still responsible for broadcasting their own transaction, but you can always spend the UTXO out from under them in case they try to cheat you. So you can broadcast your claim transaction on the chain before them if the time lock expires. Does that make sense?
Yeah, let me try to rephrase. So you are saying, hey, instead of putting time lock, maybe you can use, if I have to guess, maybe use some sign the message off chain, but with the correct lock time. But doesn't have not, but it's kept off chain.
Yeah, but it's
At
still
the
time
beginning.
locked. So you still yeah,
Yeah,
it's
still
off
time lock.
chain.
Yeah, it's off chain.
Still time locked. It's just off chain.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think that's it's almost like the difference. There are a number of issues, right? First, then you have always to watch out because the other party can always spend the UTXO by broadcasting another. It's almost like a double spending transaction, right? He can always has that possibility. Then you have to watch the chain constantly.
Okay,
You
so
see what I
maybe
mean? Because
not really,
if it's
because
not
maybe there is
broadcasted
something
yet, then the
yeah,
UTXO is
maybe there
not
is some
the founding
yeah, maybe
UTXO is there. You can
Let me give
anytime you
you.
have the possibility to broadcast and spend it before
I
this
think that
off-chain transaction is
Let,
broadcast.
yeah, let me give you an example. Recently there was this ransom, company ransom system that they were encrypting the computer of I don't know, a number of agencies, and they have to pay in BTC before they receive the key. So what the police, and I can't remember the country, but what they discovered was that they gave you the key as soon as they saw the transaction in the main pool, without waiting for the transaction to be mined. So what they did is, at the same time, for all the companies that have been bribed, that they have been encrypted, they said, okay, we are paying, and they paid BTC to this crypto, I can't remember the name, but this organization. And then they started receiving the keys to unencrypt the files. So as soon as they received the keys for unencrypting the files, police sent a replace by fee transaction on the BTC. That's not possible on BSV, but it's possible on BTC. And they simply paid a slightly bigger fee, but they sent less money to the crime organization. And at the end, the crime organization received peanuts, but they already have given the key. So something like that will be possible if you do something like this offline, just the transaction and a time
can be replaced.
You will eventually double spend, or even without double spend, you could replace by fee and send other transaction, and actually Alice or Bob would lose the BSV that they have spent.
Yeah, that's a practical issue. Basically, on BTC, if you kept it on chain, off chain, you can always do the replace by fee. Even you broadcast it later. If I pay a higher fee, they can send it back. So in practice, on BTC, you have to wait for in the setup, you have to wait for the transaction to be mined first. So because for us, BSV, there's no such thing because it's zero conf. So if you kept it off chain in BTC, that's not going to work. For BSV, it may work. If you design your protocol carefully, but there's no way it can work on BTC. Make sense?
Right. So on BSV you can do
maybe
tokens. You can basically do BSV to BSV atomic swaps off chain in a payment channel or something like that. But you pretty much can't do that on BTC anymore because somebody can always rug you with a replace by fee.
Yes.
If
it's not mined.
Yeah,
if it's
because
not mined,
RBF basically messes with.
Yes.
Yeah.
It's messes with everything.
If it's
yes.
mined in a block and. Yeah. Good point.
Yeah. Good question. Yeah. You are talking about the practical things. If you really want to somebody set up a website, you can go there and swap BTC with BSV. All these points you just mentioned has to be baked in a product, I think. Okay.
So maybe the final question on my side. So we have here the setup, And then below we explain that they share the same pin. This same pin, the Alice generating the pin and sharing the hash to Bob is part of the setup, right?
Yeah, it's part of the protocol. Yes.
Yeah.
It's, yeah, it has to be. Yes. You see, this is the final protocol. Basically, you have to execute in these steps, unless you have timeout, and then you take the coins back. Okay. Is that a question, or is this just the comment?
No. Just confirming that that was
Okay.
the case. Yes, because I mean, it was not clear to me, but now after the different questions, yeah, I thought, yeah, that's part of the setup, and that's why they both know the hash.
Hash. Yes.
In the second place. Yeah.
Yeah, they have to agree on the hash. And the good thing is, there's no way, Bob can always, so two ways, right? Either Alice tell the hash to Bob directly, or Bob can watch the BTC chain, right? And then know the hash, because the hash is going to be on chain. So there's no way Alice can cheat. Or maybe Alice can send him the wrong hash, which is not going to work, right? Because he can always double check on with whatever's on chain.
Actually, before Alice enters the hash, shouldn't there be the smart contract signed by Bob to send the BTC to the mailbox?
No, actually, it's two steps. Alice deploys first in this case, and then Bob deploys the contract, lock up the coins. Bob doesn't wait, doesn't have to wait.
No, but what I mean is that on the setup, if you scroll up, Bob sends his BTC to mailbox A. So this needs to happen, right?
Yeah, but what I'm saying is, this happens in this case specifically after Alice has locked up her coins to Bob's mailbox.
Okay. Yeah. So after Alice sends the her BSB to mailbox B, he can get the hash and use that very same hash to send his BTC to mailbox A. Is that what you mean? Okay,
yes.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay. Any other question or comments?
Yeah. Maybe one last question. Please go ahead.
Okay, you go for it first. Go on.
No. Okay, very quick one. So this you had you still had the plugin on wasn't chain to check if the smart contract was the very same one you thought it was going to be, right?
Yes, to be 100% sure. Yes, you can, right? Because here the thing is, you don't have to trust the counterparty. Everything you can check. So that's the beauty of this product. Yeah. Either what's on chain, or if you are like a BTC guy, you can run your own node. If you're really paranoid, you can do all kinds of things, but you can check. Yes. Okay.
The question that I have was probably more on the implementation side, because since BTC doesn't really support the complexity of contracting that BSV does, I'm assuming that on the BTC side, you would probably have to do something like a pay-to-script hash.
Yeah, they do use a pay-to-script hash, or they now have fancy stuff. You can pay to, what is this? A taproot. Yeah, you don't do you. Yeah, you have to adapt. You can put as long as you can put this in the either pay to script hash or pay to taproot. You can do all kinds of things. So in our case, we also show this is the first article. So we actually provide the code here. We have done the first cross chain between BSV and BTC core. So you can actually on BTC core, I think we put it in, if I remember, yes, pay to so-called it is almost like a pay-to-script hash, but they call that
Oh,
because
it's
after the
it's a
SegWit, yeah,
SegWit
the SegWit, yeah.
script hash. Yeah.
Yes, yes. So,
Pay to
but it's
SegWit script hash.
essentially
Yeah.
it's essentially the same thing. Yeah, I think it's
Right.
essentially
Right.
the same thing. Yeah, yeah. But good point. Yeah, that's yeah. It's just I think it's just more complicated. Anyway, you can do it. We actually have the working code here if you want to try it out. For example, you make the modification you just make, right? So if anybody cancels, you have to pay the other party some penalty. Let's make it more robust. Yeah. Okay. Anything else, guys?
Nothing from me.
Yeah,
All right,
nothing.
then. Let's wrap this up, and thanks for coming, and hopefully to see all you next week. Okay. Have a good one,
Okay.
guys. Bye bye.
Cool. Have a good one.
Thanks.
Bye bye.
You too. Bye
Thanks.
bye.
This is great. Bye.
Bye.